Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel coming at you with a shocking breaking news headline here, which is that Peter Brandt lives under a bridge. Yes, indeed, he is a Bitcoin maxi troll. Take a look at this headline from You Today. And this is directly because of Peter Brandt. Invest in Bitcoin and steer clear of XRP. Veteran trader Peter Brandt offers his advice to millennials. So this is certainly advice you're going to want to listen to from Bitcoin maxi troll Peter Brandt. So I'm going to go ahead and tear down just a bunch of the comments that he said because they're completely nonsensical. And I like having these videos. First of all, they're fun, but second of all, it's useful to illustrate the point that it's stupid to be a maximalist of any coin because, quite simply, different cryptocurrencies have different technical attributes. Different people want different things from various cryptocurrencies, and so it's never going to be a one-size-fits-all. Ever. But here we are regardless. It's just some silly nonsense in Moon Lambo's book. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, I'd definitely appreciate it. And if you enjoy hearing from Bitcoin maxi trolls, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Bitcoin maxi troll. I'm telling you, that's exactly what they sound like. So I actually I've now that I think about it, I actually have seen Peter Brandt speak in a couple of YouTube videos, and now that I think about it, that's exactly what he sounded like. I don't know why I wasn't picking up on it earlier. Bitcoin maxi troll. Sometimes when I'm hanging out under my bridge, people try and cross over my bridge, and I say, no, you gotta pay that troll toll, and you have to pay in Bitcoin. It might take 3 days for the block to close. So you have to stand there for 3 days. Go away, Bitcoin maxi troll. You don't make no damn sense. Even if I tell you what, Bitcoin maxi troll, if you're going to make people pay to cross your bridge, could you at least make them pay in XRP so that you could speed up the process of people walking across the bridge? That's all I ask, man. Just switch to Bitcoin. Of course, you're not going to do it because you're the maxi type, man. So he's got a long history of the last few months for a guy that says he's so anti-Ripple and XRP and that he doesn't care about it. He even proclaimed that he wasn't going to talk about XRP anymore. He sure is in the headlines a lot over the last few months for talking about XRP. Here's one from March 2nd. Do you remember this one? XRP and gold have one thing in common, according to trading legend Peter Brandt. And this is stupid. Look at this one here. I think this is where I wanted to go to. Yeah. Here we go. Somebody named Shy Girl. What people do not realize is that any pullback in gold is an opportunity. Stop being a hater. So that wasn't even about crypto, but Peter Brandt responded and injected XRP into it because he's just got some XRP on the mind. It's crazy. I think that he thinks about XRP more than me. And I run a freaking YouTube channel centered on XRP. I'm just saying, man. I believe that he's dreaming about XRP when he goes to sleep. Absolutely. So here was Peter Brandt's response. Don't you realize that negative comments about gold and XRP and positive comments about equities are the third rails of Twitterville? Third rail, and I had to Google that again. I Googled it the first time back in March when I covered this, and I'd forgotten since because normal people don't use that term. Or, I don't know. I shouldn't say normal. That's not fair. But people in my age group don't use that term. I'm guessing that's probably more precise. That's probably what it is anyway. It could just be a generational thing. But it's basically a form of conversation that is kind of like taboo, not mainstream, a third rail. And so negative comments, he's saying negative comments about gold or XRP is essentially saying it's taboo and you can't say that stuff, which is funny because really all you hear in crypto media is negative crap about Ripple and XRP, and it's largely fun. It's mostly completely nonsensical types of things here. And it's kind of interesting, though. So apparently you're not. He's saying, so his position was you can't say anything negative about XRP. Well, he sure as hell does. He says all sorts of crap that's nonsense about XRP that's negative. And XRP then, and if it's true for gold that, and Peter seems to agree on that, if it's perhaps a buying opportunity when it pulls back, what about XRP? Is it a buying opportunity for XRP when that price goes down, or is it just gold, Peter Brandt? And then you can look at this one. This is from April 28th. XRP called scam by Peter Brandt. XRP's a scam. Blah, 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 blah. I live under a bridge. Blah, 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 blah. I keep warm by flaming hot garbage in a barrel. Blah, 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 blah. It's under my bridge. Blah, 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 blah. Here's what he thinks about this cryptocurrency. Oh, we know what he thinks about it. Here's the actual tweet. Yeah, here we go. So he was asked by somebody, have you looked into Link, Peter, another cryptocurrency? He writes, curious. Peter Brandt responded to that. Been bought by a bunch of people who finally figured out XRP was a scam. And this is so comical to me to be able to, with a straight face, call XRP a scam. And of course, the implication is always that it's Ripple, because if there's not a central authority, how is it a scam? Who's scamming who if nobody's running an organization? Of course, that doesn't make any damn sense. And so, of course, it's Ripple, and he's talked about the evil doings of Ripple here. And I just want to know how they've been able to operate for the better part of a decade without the SEC or any government entity coming down from them in any sort of way that would actually fundamentally change or cease their operations. So that hasn't happened. So this would be a major scam. It's also interesting that if this is a scam, the degree to which they're transparent about their operations, wouldn't that put things to a halt here if it were actually a scam? It's completely ridiculous. Ripple is the most transparent company in all of blockchain, and there isn't even a close second. I've said that many times before, and that's just the truth. So there's Peter Brandt again, not making no damn sense. And that brings us to the piece from today, again titled, Invest in Bitcoin and Steer Clear of XRP. Is that what I should do? Is that what I should do, Mr. Bitcoin Maxi Troll Peter Brandt? Millennials are struggling to make ends meet, and Peter Brandt has an idea about how they can improve their financial situation. According to trading guru Peter Brandt, millennials and Generation X, the demographic cohort that followed them, should invest at least 10% of their net worth in Bitcoin to improve their financial situation. Now, that's some pretty intense financial advice. Most of the people that say jump into crypto, they say a lot of them just say crypto in general. Some do say Bitcoin, but they say maybe just 1% or 2% or 3%, or if you're feeling really gutsy about it, maybe 5%. But he's saying, regardless of your situation, 10%? And the way he worded, I'll give you the tweet, but I read it like multiple times, and you can just tell me how you think it's supposed to be interpreted, but I was like, maybe you should have read what you wrote before tweeting it a couple more times. So here's what he wrote. I will give you the same advice I give my X-Gen children and M-Gen nephews and nieces. Buy a home, any home, but get into the housing market. That part's reasonable. That part's fair. That's fine. Then he writes, work 2 jobs if you need to. Invest 10% of what you can afford in Bitcoin. Invest monthly in quality tech and value stock ETFs. So what does that mean? Invest 10% specifically, not invest 10% of what you earn in Bitcoin. Invest 10% of what you can afford. What does that mean, what you can afford? How are you defining what you can afford? You have to understand, Peter Brandt, that is not completely clear here. So I don't even know how to take that. I don't know how to properly critique that other than to say you don't make no damn sense. And then you got this subheading, how Bitcoin can close the wealth gap. And then it just kind of goes into something else here a little bit, which I don't want to get too heavily into here. But after enduring 9/11 and the global financial crisis, millennials now own only a minuscule 3% of the wealth in America, despite being in their 30s. For comparison, baby boomers, the generation to which Brandt belongs, were already sitting on 21%. However, over the next 25 years, younger generations are expected to inherit close to $70 trillion from baby boomers, according to asset management firm Grayscale Investments. And I've talked about it on the channel, too. I think that will allow money to flow into the crypto space here. But as far as the nonsense that's coming out here, happy always to continue to call this out. And here's the Bitcoin Maxi Troll on your screen if you care to take a look. There he is, Peter Brandt in all of his glory. And it's always astonishing to me because Ripple today, with the technology that they have, they are absolutely, not in addition to what I've already said as far as being the most transparent, they're gaining real-world adoption. XRP is the only cryptocurrency that's being used in the commercial production of anything, and excuse me, and it's actually a force for good. Think about this. Some of the poorest people on the planet are benefiting from this, and that's why I'm so disgusted by the positions that some Bitcoin maxi trolls take, which is that if they could just, snap their fingers, they do away with Ripple and XRP. Down with banks, down with governments, and also any entity that wants to potentially collaborate with them or help in any sort of capacity, right? And it's to me it's a terrible, disgusting position, because if it were up to you, you do away with that, and that would result in the poorest people on the planet having less and more money going to intermediaries. That's an awful position to have. And I'm happy to call it. And I don't even know if that many people in the Bitcoin Maxi side have even researched enough to understand that the position that they hold, if they could have, if it could be played out to the ultimate conclusion, I don't think that many of them even realize how harmful that would be. But some do. Some do. Some know exactly what they're doing, and they don't care at all costs. Down with fiat currency. It's completely illogical and nonsensical, and Moon Lambo didn't want to have no part of that. I'm just saying it, just calling it as I see it. Oh, Bitcoin Maxi Troll. Just enjoy hanging out by your garbage fire under the bridge, charging people Bitcoin across your bridge, making them wait 3 days for transactions to actually process because the Bitcoin blockchain is slow. That's how you live in your life? I don't know, man. It's just like, I like to say, like, I'm living my best life. Is this Bitcoin Maxi Troll living his Bitcoin Maxi Troll best life? I'm not so sure. Maybe this is heaven for him, though. That's it for this video, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.